Hello friends, my name is Claire and I'm going to be doing an apartment based off of Taylor Swift's new album, The Tortured Poets Department. So instead of making a department, I made an apartment. We are first going to be starting off in a little entryway I made. You can't change the exterior doors of apartments, and so kind of what led me to make this entryway area. And I wanted it to be kind of like a little cozy reading nook feel on top of like a drop zone area. And so I wanted to add this mirror with the little like moon crescent to kind of represent her last album, which was the Midnight album. And so we are just going to be going and adding some wall art now. It took me a little while to figure out like wall art because I wasn't sure like how much color to bring into the apartment at this point, and so we are just going to be adding a rug into this entryway and going to be adding just a few more details. And I wanted to just make this apartment the same color scheme as her new album, which was pretty easy since it's a black and white themed album. And so I tried to keep the walls the same colors and the floors are kind of like the brightness, and then the dark like accent just to give it some more detail and depth. And so we are just going to be adding some book quotes. I do use the book knit kit a lot in this pack because I figured with a poet, they would probably have a lot of books. Oh yeah, I did design this apartment to be for like a writer or songwriter or poet, and so I do want to add some items to represent some of her song titles. And with a quick Google search, I discovered that there are two songs I could easily replicate into The Sims. One of them is Goodbye London, and the other is But Daddy, I Love Him. And so I wanted to add a stack of umbrellas, well, not a stack of umbrellas, but like the umbrella holding thing from the seasons pack to say goodbye, to represent Goodbye London, since I know with my limited knowledge of London that it rains there a lot, and so just like putting like the umbrellas away or like closed umbrellas just kind of represented that to me. And then but the song But Daddy, I Love Him, that's a reference from the Little Mermaid movie from Disney, at least I assume so. And so I added this kind of like bust head into the bedroom. And so now we are just going into the kitchen. I kind of talked over the living room, but it's a pretty simple, cozy space. And I did recently get a new computer, so some of these items are showing that I haven't used them before. That's just because I got a new computer. I also have used them before if you've seen my builds, and so I wanted for this kitchen to use some of the items from the Cool Kitchen pack. It's one of the like first stuff packs that came in The Sims 4, and it just seemed like modern and classy items. That's kind of what I wanted to go for in this apartment. And so we are just going to be adding some stools and going to be continuing with this theme of black and white and gray. I did add a spot for a cat, or a few spots for a cat, but I did make sure that there is a litter box and a pet bowl. And I was trying to incorporate some like cat inspired items throughout the build, because if you're doing a build around Taylor Swift, you should probably add some cat items. And I do use this like poster from the Cool Kitchen stuff pack, because I felt like it looked kind of similar to one of the images that Taylor Swift released for her albums. It's not like the first one, but it's like one where she's like standing and it kind of like fades from like dark to the bottom to like, gray on top to a little bit more gray on top. Anyway, we are now in the second bedroom, or I guess it's more of an office, and I decided to make it like a office slash music room, and I wanted this area to feel very creative, and so that's kind of why I added like all of these instruments and going to be adding a desk, because I feel like a desk would make sense with a poet, and so we are just going to be adding all these items. It took me a while to figure out like which layout or which orientation I wanted this room to be in. And so now we are just going to be adding some decorations into the desk and kind of finding some things I forgot I should probably add into the living room. And so yeah, there's that umbrella stand, and I wanted to use a lot of items from the book knit Nook kit, like I said earlier, and this mug with a book is one of those items earlier. And I should probably mention this if you haven't told already. I might sound a little bit stuffy. I'm kind of getting over a cold right now. I feel like my family's been sick a lot recently, and so hopefully this like is the last sickness we can go through. And so back to the build, I wanted to add some wall decorations, but it felt kind of hard to find things with that like black and white theme. But luckily there are some like sole black and white pictures, or like solely black and white pictures, and so we are just going to be adding a rug, and I do layer those rug with another rug. I just kind of cut it out because I realized after like, oh yeah, I should probably do something. I wanted to do it and I just kind of forgot in the moment. And so luckily, back to the pictures, there are a few black and white pictures. I'm using the ones in the office. They are from the Get Famous pack, and so we are just going to be adding a little cat hangout spot and going to be finishing up this room. And I feel like this area turned out pretty well, and so we are just going to be adding a little hanging cat in the tree picture because it just felt appropriate for a cat apartment. And so now we are in the one and only bathroom. You do have to go through the bedroom to get into the bathroom, but I don't really think that's a big deal. Might be a little bit inconvenient in real life, but we are in The Sims. It doesn't really matter. And so I do add a separate toilet room into this apartment just because I wanted to make this a little bit bigger, and having the litter box in here was just kind of like the obvious spot. And so I do go for this bigger litter box, but I do change it out for a smaller litter box. And I add items from the Snowy Escape pack because mostly it's a shower, but after Taylor Swift announced this new album, she went to Japan for the Eras tour, and so I thought it was kind of fun to add some items with that inspiration to represent that point in that Eras tour. And so we are just going to be adding some pictures into the bathroom and going into the holiday kit or the free holiday pack and adding some items from there. I really wanted to use this like fireplace that's it's not an actual fireplace, it's a shelf, but I didn't want to solely be using that item, and so I went into the holiday pack and found some items. And so I used this little Christmas tree to kind of represent Taylor Swift growing up on a Christmas tree farm. But now we are in the last bedroom of the house or the apartment, which is the bedroom. And this area took me a little while to figure out what I wanted to do. It was a little bit challenging because this is like the main point of inspiration from the album covers, and so first we just kind of add curtains just to give that privacy, but I feel like it was kind of fun to like do like the sheer curtains because it's like she doesn't really have that much privacy being in the public eye, and so we are just going to be adding a picture above the fireplace and going to be adding some candles, just some like decorations. I do add a separate like closet space into this room, and that's kind of what took me forever. I'm working on it now. I just want to take a moment to thank everybody who has subscribed to me. It means so much to me, and I set a goal to reach 70 subscribers before my birthday, which was coincidentally April 19th, the same day Taylor Swift's music video, or not music video, the same day Taylor Swift's album comes out. And so I want to thank all of you who have subscribed. It means so much to me. And so if you haven't subscribed yet, I make videos every single Tuesday, and I would love it if you would subscribe. And so back to the build, we are just going to be adding some side tables and going to be adding a closet. Even though I have like a closet room, I feel like it made kind of sense to add some items into the closet and like have like a private like closed off space, but also have some open storage hanging space. And so we are using some items from the vintage glamour pack, which I haven't used in a while, and it's one of those like kind of like taste specific items. And so we are just going to be adding that open storage, and I do add some kitchen cabinets to hide this upper shelf area. I wanted it to be more clean and just a little bit of clutter up there, and so we are just going to be hiding that. And speaking of hiding, I did hide a football somewhere in this apartment. So if you want to download this apartment, you can find it on the Sims Gallery, and comment down below if you can spot the football. I'm pretty sure I did it after I took the screenshot, so you kind of have to go download the apartment. And I wanted to make sure that there was space for a cat in here, and so I put this cat tree by the window, and I felt like it just was a nice spot, and it looks pretty simple and clean over here. I do also add a desk over here that kind of looks like a vanity, but I don't think your Sims can actually do their makeup on it. And so there's that busk that I was talking about earlier, about with like the Daddy I Love Him song kind of representing that. And I like how in this busk version I used, it kind of looks like King Triton destroyed the busk, and the poet like put it back together, or Ariel put it back together. And so we are just going to be adding some items from the Modern Looks kit. I really wanted to use this record player. It took me a minute to figure out that word. I really wanted to use this record player since I was imagining a musician slash poet would be living in this apartment. And so we are just going to be adding some curtains, going to just kind of be tying up this video, getting close to the screenshots. And I just want to apologize, I didn't realize when I was taking the screenshots that there's a little like white bar above the pictures. I will try to figure that out next video. Like I said, I've got a new computer, and I'm still kind of figuring out all of the qualities that come with this computer. It's pretty similar to my last computer. It's just those like kind of like fine details, like taking screenshots, are a little bit different. So right now we are just figuring out like a headboard for the wall behind the bed, and I ended up just keeping it empty behind the bed because looking at the image for Taylor Swift's new album, it just kind of looked blank, and so I decided to keep it blank on my version as well. And so we are just going to be adding one more picture from the snowy escape pack and heading into the screenshot. So I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please make sure to hit that like, bell, and subscribe button down below. That would mean so much to me, and I hope you all have an amazing week, and hope to see you all then. Bye!